Jordan Hamburger. I'm a partner at Sheppard Mullin, sitting in our Century City office and co-heading our private equity team. You know, we're an AmLaw top 35 firm in the country. It's about 1,200 lawyers. We got offices in all the major metropolitan areas. Management came to me and said, private equity is our #1 strategic imperative. You've done a great job with the M&A team. Would you jump over and help run the private equity team? Can't say no to that.
Absolutely.
If I had to advise someone that really wants to be a lawyer in an M&A and private equity, or private equity in particular, my MBA was huge. Like understanding finance and accounting and ops, just being able to kind of be in the same headspace as my clients. I actually also have a niche in carve-outs. I represent a bunch of private equity funds that focus on doing carve-outs of orphans from, you know, big strategics and public companies. But from an industry perspective, it would A&D, healthcare, energy, and food and beverage. We also have a great life sciences and FDA practice. Not doing enough there with the private equity sponsors, but that's an area we're looking to grow into.
Thanks for hosting. We're in LA at your club. Do you want to introduce yourself to the audience, Jordan?
Love to. Thanks for having me, Reese. This has been a blast for the first 9, even though you beat us 2 ways. Jordan Hamburger. I'm a partner at Sheppard Mullin, sitting in our Century City office and co-heading our private equity team. So Sheppard Mullin, you know, we're an AmLaw top 35 firm in the country, so real good quality. About 1,200 lawyers. We got offices in all the major metropolitan areas. You know, founded, headquartered in California with one of the strongest labor and employment practices in the state, which is important, obviously. But we're a full-service shop, so you know it's a broad, deep bench that can take care of anything I need, whether I'm doing an acquisition, an add-on, or helping a portco. You know, so it's been really great. I've been here for 8 years.
Yeah, and geographies too. You can work kind of in any jurisdiction or.
Yeah, we got a great office in New York, Chicago, San Fran, LA, Dallas. We got all the major U.S. cities covered. We got London, we got Brussels to cover anything in Europe. We've got Seoul and Singapore to take care of Asia, and our offices are very balanced. We've got, you know, good core private equity practitioners and then a lot of the specialists in each office. But our teams work cross office, so I got an associate starting stuff East Coast time, then someone comes online in the Midwest, and then I get up, you know, 7 a.m. Pacific, and my team's already been cranking for 3 hours. Yeah. So I've been co-heading the private equity team for about 1.5 years. Before that, for 3 years, I co-head our M&A team. So our M&A team, 225 lawyers. You know, obviously that's not all deal lawyers, that's also the specialists as well. That M&A team focuses on representing, you know, strategics in buy and sell side, founders in selling. And so that's historically been a practice of strength for Sheppard. And so I was asked to co-head it with my partner downtown, Zach Turk, to kind of reboot it, revitalize it, which we did, and it's a great practice for the firm. And about 1.5 years ago, management came to me and said, you know, private equity is our #1 strategic imperative. You've done a great job with the M&A team. Would you jump over and help run the private equity team? And can't say no to that.
Absolutely.
So running that with one of my partners, Ariel, out of New York, and one of my partners, Mike, out of Chicago. 95 lawyers. That's probably like 25, 30, you know, private equity deal lawyers, and then again a bunch of specialists that spend most of their time supporting private equity clients. And we've got private equity lawyers in every one of our offices. Chicago, New York, DC, and Century City are our strongholds, but we've got some in San Fran and Dallas and Houston. So we've got good geographic
coverage.
Yeah.
And so is your responsibility there what, like growing the team, managing projects, or are you sourcing and actually like in the weeds working deals too?
Both.
Yeah.
So
Jordan.
I can answer that.
Okay. Yeah, so running the private equity team, my responsibility is to make sure that we have good strategic direction in approaching the market, and then figuring out what we need to do internally to hit those strategic goals. So, work closely with our AI team to make sure we're coming up with an approach to using AI that really will be leverageable and beneficial to our private equity clients. I'm working with our knowledge management folks to make sure that we're doing training modules so that our associates know how to work with private equity. We're making sure we're at the conferences, doing things to be present and support private equity and the bankers that are working with them, and then figuring out lateral hires. Do we need another private equity lawyer? Do we need a Lev Fin lawyer? Do we need a employee benefits lawyer? All that are geared towards really serving the private equity ecosystem, and it's completely separate and distinct then from my main job of originating business relationships with private equity, doing deals, taking care of their portfolio companies.
Each partner's building a book still of clients.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's one of the great things about Sheppard, is every partner is encouraged and expected to build a book with clients, whereas at some of the other firms, they have their institutional clients, and then you're expected to just service those. We want folks breaking in, making new relationships, figuring out what those sponsors particularly want, and then meeting those needs. So I do a lot of encouraging the partners that it doesn't come naturally to get out there.
So within your teams, y'all have, and specific to the private equity space, y'all have industry specialists that kind of pick a lane, or how do y'all divvy up deals?
There's a good amount of industry specialization or industry expertise. So we're really strong in aerospace and defense. We've got an amazing group of government contracts and CFIUS and ITAR and clearance specialists in our DC office to support our A&D practice. So that's an area we really can shine in. The firm is a top, in my opinion, I think it's pretty well agreed, we're probably a top 3 healthcare firm in the country. So we're great in A&D, we're great in healthcare. We have a really great energy and alternative energy between old school energy in Houston, and then we have a really, between Chicago and San Francisco, great alternative energy practices. So we do really well there. And then food and beverage, we've got really great experienced PE lawyers and the specialists. So our power alleys would be healthcare, A&D, energy, and food and beverage. But I personally have a bunch of really kind of old school traditional private equity clients that are doing manufacturing, industrials, chemicals. I actually also have a niche in carve-outs. I represent a bunch of private equity funds that focus on doing carve-outs of orphans from big strategics and public companies. But from an industry perspective, it would A&D, healthcare, energy, and food and beverage. We also have a great life sciences and FDA practice. Not doing enough there with the private equity sponsors, but that's an area we're looking to grow into.
When private equities are engaging y'all, what does that typically look and feel like?
Yeah, well, it looks and feels good, because that's the goal, and it takes sometimes a lot of time wooing and chasing and displacing. It probably takes 3 different shapes or forms. The first one is, we'll use you for work at our portfolio company, do some day-to-day work. Let's kind of see what the platform can do. Others are, we're using Latham or K&E or Ropes for our platform acquisitions. Let's do add-ons, see what you can do in the transactional context. We always kick ass there, and then grow into, okay, we'll help let you sell the business you did all the add-ons for, and then the next thing you know, we're doing the platforms. And then there are some where from day one they're like, let's go buy a platform, and you take care of the portco work, you help with the add-ons, then we exit it, and in between you need to do some CV, or you need to do refi. Like we handle all of it. So I'm in it for the long term. I'm in it for relationship and partnership, and so I'm fine any which entry point, and make sure we show them they're going to get as good quality as anywhere they can go, and better service, and usually works.
How do you think about the size of deals?
You know, historically we were lower middle market. We've moved squarely into the middle market and up into the upper market. I'd say there's a lot of firms chasing, let me just be candid, chasing K&E in the top, 15, 20 sponsors and price insensitivity. We know where we're good, which is right in the heart of the middle market. So, $50 to $75 million enterprise value on the low end to 500, 750 million on the high end is our bread and butter. And this year I've done deals, add-ons as small as 5 million, and I sold a platform, one sponsor to another for 1.6 billion. So we can run the spectrum, but we do the middle market better than anyone.
Last question.
Let's go.
On the personal side, how'd you get into the legal space, and then on the M&A side, private equity, how'd you kind of find your way into that lane?
The first one is went to undergrad to be a doctor. Both my parents are doctors. I have like a intense fear of death. So somewhere around sophomore year, I realized that getting to medical school and having my own cadaver to work on every day wasn't really gonna suit me. So I pivoted and had never really studied business and dove into that, and from there I was like, well, what do I do? And the answer was, just go to law school and then play it out from there. That's how I got to law school, went to law school, and because I had done the business focus when I came out of the school and into the firm life, seemed to make sense to be on the business side of law. Started off doing M&A. Very quickly, the firm I was working at, one of their best clients was the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, started doing co-investment and private equity work for them, and then just kind of run with it for 23 years. I can't believe it's that long, but I have a very aggressive personality that I try to hide at work. So like litigation and things where there's like built-in fighting, didn't think was going to be good for me. So I wanted to go into something where I was putting things together, and what I try to do every day is figure out how to get people to a deal getting done. You could say both sides winning, either side being unhappy, something in between, but I like figuring out what my clients really care about and then getting the deal done.
Maybe off the heels of that, if you were going to do it again, or have some advice for aspiring M&A attorneys.
I mean, the honest answer is I came out of a JD MBA program and I had an offer to join an investment bank and an offer to join a law firm, and my advice would be to go to the investment bank, do a few years there, jump over to a private equity fund and be the client, not the service provider. But if I had to advise someone that really wants to be a lawyer in an M&A and private equity, or private equity in particular, my MBA was huge. Like understanding finance and accounting and ops, just being able to kind of be in the same headspace as my clients. And then the other thing I would tell any associate, doesn't matter what they're doing, is max out your reps. When you're young and you don't have a significant other and responsibilities, pour everything into the job. I feel like I got 2 days worth of experience out of every day for my first 5-6 years, and it really kind of put me on a trajectory. It just, I mean, this is all about seeing everything and storing it in a knowledge bank and then using it when it comes up again. So if you're gonna do this job, then that's the way to do it. And before we wrap, I want to say thank you. This has been a blast. Reese hit a ball 320 on the fourth hole. I've never seen someone hit it that far. He also just hit a 4-iron about 220. So seen some good golf and some bad golf.
No, thanks for hosting. This is great.